Hello, today I'm gonna show you a walkthrough of a 34-foot Keystone Cougar 2005 that we recently renovated. Um, Basically, we had a situation where there was a tenant in here who kind of trashed the camper. He put out his cigarettes in the carpet next to the bed. Anyway, if you want to come over this way, what we did is this was carpet at one point and then vinyl flooring, and we stuck these vinyl planks over top of it. They are the adhesive kind, not the click together kind. Now, if I would do it again, I would probably use the click together vinyl, and the reason being is adhesive vinyl doesn't stick super well to everything, and the adhesive does lose some of its stickiness depending on the substrate. If it's slightly not level, it doesn't really matter what the material is, and but if it's not level in any way, it tends to kind of peel up in those spots. And so what I did to remedy that in this case was I used Loctite construction adhesive and liquid nail as a supplemental adhesive for it. This was a bunkhouse model, so this wall actually was more up to here, and this was a separate little room with, I presume, 2 sets of bunk beds, because there's 4 windows, upper and lower. By the time we got in here to do anything, this was already like this. Rather than try to restore it to a bunk bed type situation, it seemed best to turn it into kind of a sitting room, because most campers don't usually have those. This was a case of having to improvise a little bit, because since this is a bunk model, I'm guessing, I've never seen the original floor layout, but I'm guessing there was the water pump is all here, and then the electrical is here where the cord goes in. So it would just obviously be sitting out in the middle of the floor when they took the bunks out. I don't know how they were really oriented, but all of this must have been underneath. So I built 2 enclosures that kind of function as end tables, but they're more permanent fixtures. The cord for the power coils up into this one. These barrel chairs are available at Walmart, 2 for some $200 something, $220, something like that for 2 of them, and they're nice because they fit our navy theme in here. We took off all the valances that covered the windows and all the blinds, the RV blinds. Somehow, blinds from Walmart of various sizes actually worked for every window in the camper. So, and then of course this dresses them up nicer with a little plaid kind of checkered design that carries the navy theme. But these are the non-cord kind. It's a lot easier just to have the retracting and pulling them down without cords to get tangled up. So this is probably the best room in the house, I think. It's just kind of a nice little sitting room. Again, I don't think a lot of RVs have that, so it ended up being kind of a unique thing, a novelty. This slide section over here was just bare. It had some really bad carpet and a typical RV dinette right here. And then over here, this couch was in here. This couch is not original, but it fits really well. So we cleaned the couch really well, got rid of all the smoke smell, and put it back in here. And it's a jackknife sofa, I think they're called, so it folds out into a bed. Instead of doing another dinette or keeping the dinette and reinstalling it, the owner of the trailer decided she wanted to do kind of just a seating area with a table and chairs to make it look more like a house, and I think it did a good job of that. There's another fifth wheel on the property here that employs that same idea and uses an actual dinner table and chairs, which of course while you're driving they're more prone to moving around, but if you can get them battened down well enough, I think it looks better and is more comfortable than a dinette anyway. Sarah painted almost all the cabinets with the blue, and you can see, of course, we carried that theme throughout the entire thing, and tried not to overdo it, but to use it as an accent. And this fridge sections, these plywood sections, we painted as well. There's a ton of storage in this camper. I mean, it doesn't even look like much until you open it. You can see what the old walls used to look like before we whitewashed everything. We used a flat white for the ceiling, and we used an antique white for the rest. This TV situation was a little bit hard because this was built in the days of the old tube TVs, and so this was the old TV box area. Now, none of the widescreen televisions, flat screens, are made that way anymore, or that size. So even the smallest, whatever, 13-inch, 19-inch, or whatever, smallest flat screen would not have fit in there. So we decided to do a mount and to just kind of cover over these cubbies with a 40-inch TV. And it fits well. I think it does the job, and of course it's kind of cool because you can turn it whichever way you want. So if you're in the kitchen working, washing dishes or whatever, you can have something you can watch right here. Or if you're sitting up at the dinette or on the couch, you can watch it this way very easily. The one problem is if you retract the slide, the TV does need to come off. Fortunately, this brand of mount is really easy. It's just one screw and then the TV just lifts off. And the new LED TVs are so light that this weighs almost nothing. To remove it and put it back on would be very easy. Didn't have to do much, but around where the flooring meets the wall, we stained the smallest quarter round you can buy. That seems to work really good for campers. It's not intrusive on the floor. It's not big. It just kind of fills the gaps, and we didn't have very many gaps to fill. And then did some a trim option here that you can do if you're wondering about if wood's going to hold up to being stepped on all the time. I just bought an aluminum channel. Everybody has these. Ace Hardware has these. Home Depot, Lowe's. Sarah painted the countertops in a kind of a custom way. This used to be a light wood, so she stained that darker to kind of match our dark wood theme, which actually turned out really well. But the countertop is really cool. This is just a blend of blue and white in different shades, and then she kind of just took a piece of paper and drug it out so that it kind of, to me it looks like a cross section of geodes, rocks, but it has a kind of a neat wavy effect. So it's almost nautical in here, but it turned out really good. What we did to cover it, to seal the paint, because it's just regular latex, is Old Masters water-based. It's not polyurethane, but it's a water-based clear coat, and I think 2 coats on that. But it's made for flooring for heavy traffic areas that are going to get walked on, so we thought it would be a good idea for a countertop as well. This is a new faucet. We have another one in the bathroom up in the bedroom area. It's just a standard house faucet with, just a couple adapters I had to do. All RV fittings are 1/2 inch, so it's just a simple brass adapter that goes in between the fittings you get with the faucet and your RV hose fittings. These were the cutting board inserts. These also got a coat or 2 of antique white, and then sealed with that Masters clear coat. Up here we just continued the flooring from down below, and let's see, there were a couple places where we had to tear out the carpet around the bed because of the cigarette ash burn damage, and it was just filthy carpet anyway, so it needed to come out. And we just refloored with this as well. That was on Oxboard or OSB, so it had to be really well glued down. OSB is not a good glue base for vinyl peel and stick flooring. I didn't expect it to be. We ended up buying a Zinus, I think that's how you pronounce it, 8-inch mattress. It's RV length because the RV queen length is a lot shorter than a traditional queen, 5 inches shorter, I think. And then this is all storage underneath, as is typical in RVs, under the bed. Same trim we did here. Coated or stained it again darker, because this was that light wood trim for the sink base and for this countertop. And then just left this kind of a baby blue instead of doing the wave effect that we did in the kitchen, just to kind of differentiate it. But those are two closets, kind of a his and hers thing, which is pretty generous amount of space there and in here. This is kind of cool. Over here, this was all carpeted, so what we did is we found some burned pine that was at another property, and we took it and we used that for the trim here. It just kind of adds a nice little touch to the woodworking inside the camper. There's not a whole lot of natural wood showing anymore, so it kind of added a little flair. The bathroom was a disaster, and it got a nice overhaul. It's very small, but it was just kind of this ugly grayish color, whitish gray. And so Sarah repainted the blue and the white, and then put in this really neat wallpaper from Walmart that is made to look like tile. They have all sorts of different patterns on them, and they're in the home improvement section of Walmart, but very, very impressive quality, and it looks like genuine tile. So, and it just really dressed up the bathroom. Place to set books or your phone or whatever. That got a tile, faux tile back on it as well. And then we just kind of furnished it with, mainly with things from thrift store and Burke's Outlet, which is like a TJ Maxx kind of, if you're more familiar with that. Down here, this kind of worked out as a good accent down below on the step leading up to the bed. That was all bare aluminum in some places and oxboard in the other. So OSB was on. So what we did is I had to use self-tapping screws for that one, and over there I just used nails and then construction adhesive too. So it just kind of helped dress it up a little bit here and carry that white from the walls in through there as well. If you want to put in the work and the materials to rehab an older or dilapidated RV, it can be actually worth it. Fortunately, this one was structurally sound, so it didn't have roof leaks or anything. The floors were are all solid, very thick OSB subfloor, and so it had good framework to work with, and that made it worthwhile. Hopefully this gives you some ideas about how you can rehab an old trailer. It is a lot of work. I think the interior, we haven't done the exterior yet, but the interior alone took us over 100 hours of labor to get it to what it looks like now. So definitely be ready to work and a lot on your hands and knees as well. But flooring and paint are your two best friends, I think. All this stuff was readily available and could be either ordered or found in stock at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace Hardware.